I like everyone, but the reason why I brought it up is because I don't trust some of the baby members. They don't always tell you because they're men or whatever, and they know a lot, but they feel awkward telling about it. But the reason why I thought about this was because it was on my YouTube that dude, because the Grateful Dead dude died, but the same dude that's the same age as Trump that knows what was going on back then, that may not be as evil as what they claim to be, you know what I'm saying? They don't need to die, but, that David Allan Coe, he was a real person that went to jail, and he did a dirty parody about what was going on, because he was frustrated too with everybody else. They shot Kennedy, and the Charles Manson murders, and Vietnam was going on, and people said, why are we hurting these people over there when they don't even know us, and they don't even know why we're supposed to hurt them? And then, but anyway, he did that dirty song, and part of it was racist. He was talking about why would any, white people have sex with black people, and it was because those husbands would get arrested and go to jail for 5 or 10 years, and the women didn't have nothing to do. When they got out of jail, they couldn't find their real wife that they loved. That's what it was. But he did, David Allan Coe, he actually did some time in prison. But he was considered outlaw, but he was just frustrated with, he wasn't a racist. He's got that Confederate flag, but he wasn't racist. He was just, I'm not sticking up for the dude. But I'm saying because I've always wondered, I don't trust baby boomers like Trump and those guys that looking right at us and they don't tell us what they already know. Because I don't hate them, I just don't trust them because they could do bad things to other people. But anyway, that David Allan Coe, he had that Confederate flag, and he did that dirty parody album that's pretty funny. But anyway, one of the things is, why do, white people, black people have sex? But that was going on in the 50s, and he was like just telling any of that Confederate flag, because but other people that were angry would just say that out loud. But, you know what I'm saying? But then not tell the truth. But he was also talking about, in that thing, people having sex or whatever, and like the Kennedys and the football team, you know what I'm saying? Because the pretty rich girls would have sex with the rich Kennedys, and not care or whatever, like the football team. But I always wondered if it was something more or something evil. But, because of racism, because of that Confederate flag. But he was just mad at all the bad people that do really evil things and don't care to tell people the nice things, or don't care about people at all and do bad things, like hit people or whatever. But yeah, I was just wondering, because I just don't trust my. And if more I know, then I know I won't get taken advantage of. Yeah, when I was a kid, if I got a couple warrants right when I was like 16 or 17 for writing a bad checkbook, and in 30 days they really did put you in prison. And it was considered check forgery without just the way the laws were written, because it was like, stealing from the government, the banks. Even though you wrote a paper check, it was still considered, even if you were 2 cents off in 30 days, it was considered stealing. And in 30 days you did 10 years in hard time prison. Hard time. What does he say in that album? Yeah. And you could go with those big cars, you could go keep going straight and then find a stoplight alone to turn left. And the police, and then they shot, the Vietnam was going on, they shot Len in the back because he was singing, my wife's gonna be on the couch, watching soap operas, you'll be in prison, worrying if you'll ever be able to get out to see her again because you love her for 10 years and not knowing where she's at, with possibly your kids, because you wrote a bad check on the second time. And then when you got out, she found out she was in another town with an Afro-American, and she didn't even remember you or didn't even care in 10 years, you know what I'm saying? And that's what he was singing about, not that he wanted to hurt black people. And another song was about some girl having sex with the rich cheerleaders, the Mickey Mouse Club, like the pop Beatles, you know what I'm saying? Like the cheesy, sexy boy bands like the Beatles, because they're rich or whatever and get famous real quick. And yeah, but that's what it was. And he, and he did time in jail and realized how bad it was. But that album that he did, it wasn't because he said that no one should, people should hate racism or hate certain people. It just meant if somebody's in front of you, do the right thing. But he knows, and Trump knows, and Biden knows. But I've always wondered those facts, because when I was like almost got a check in the rubber check rooms, and they really did put you in prison. They put a warrant out if in 30 days, like when I was 17 years old with a checkbook, I was like $10 short, and I got 2 or 3 warrants, but then I got to the bank and borrowed some money from somebody to pay like the $9 because they really did put you in prison. I do know that. I was old enough to know that. And that bank account, that, like, the banks had different names, like Wells Fargo or, you know, whatever, your grandma's bank or credit union, with your routing account number that we still have. But as far as that, I think that place was having trouble in the government about 3 years ago or 5 years ago. It was called NFSDIC or something. That's all those routing account numbers back then. But yeah, and that stuff really did go on. And that David Allen Coe, I'm not really sticking up for him, but people like Biden and Trump and Bob Weir that just died, they know all that stuff. They're the merry pranksters. You know what I'm saying? They were like make jokes and not angels, but they certainly weren't killing people. The good guys, you know what I'm saying? But they are like me. They sit around and see who's going to hurt them and how evil it is. Like, what was I going to say? Reverend Jesse Jackson. Because, yeah, Reverend Jesse Jackson, he was kind of like a good guy, like kind of like Bob Weir, like, or me, and Mary Prankster that sits around and watch everybody but don't trust nobody. You know what I'm saying? So there is people that get hurt. You know what I'm saying? And killing that is evil and say, oh, well, it's, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, that's why I've been thinking about it all my life, because I just don't trust everybody around me. Later.